We have some
You
horrific
ain't gonna like
breaking
what
news
I'm
this
about to
morning.
tell
The
you
country
right
is waking
now.
up to another mass shooting, this time in
You
Leland,
ain't gonna like what I'm
Mississippi,
about to
a
tell
small
you
town
right
of about
now.
4,000 people. And according to the mayor who
You ain't
spoke to
gonna like what I'm
CBS
about
News,
to
4
tell you
people
right
are
now.
dead, 12 are injured, 4 were
You ain't gonna
airlifted
like what I'm
in
about
an
to tell you
overnight
right
mass
now.
shooting that gripped this small town.
You ain't
People were
gonna
in
like what I'm
town
about
for
to
a
tell you right
homecoming
now.
game, and this happened on the main street
You
within
ain't
the
gonna
town.
like what
No
I'm about to
suspect
tell you
has been
right now.
caught. The investigation remains on.
Homecoming shooting, Leland, Mississippi. 8 killed, multiple wounded. Mostly women, ages between 8 to 41 ages. Suspect they think he's about 18 years old. Not sure. They're asking for everyone's help in the shooting. If you know something, say something. If you recorded something, send that information to the police. Please. We all are so sad from this incident that I have to even come out and make a video to talk about it. We're praying for everyone involved, families, and even the people watching this. I'm not even there. I'm not part of the family, but I feel like I have something I need to say from the bottom of my heart. And the question is, after watching this video of 3 different shootings in Mississippi, some of the question that arises with me, and I'm sure it arises with you, is why and where are their parents at? Who raised these killers that could go out and shoot up a bunch of people? Who raised these people? If you anything like me, that's a question I have sometimes when I hear these stories. Where are your parents at? Do they know that they're raising a killer? And truth be told, as I did my research, parents don't know. But this video is going to educate us about it. That we are raising killers. Black community is raising killers. And I'm going to prove to you in this video, you watch it all the way to the end, on my hypothesis of what I think this is. I didn't want to come to you with another disgrace story of why, where the parents, a bunch of questions. I'm coming to you with the answer to this devastating news once again, in Mississippi over the weekend for no reason. For a young man, which I have a young grandson, and I know how frail and skinny and bony their body is, to be so comfortable with these weapons that they carry them and they need to have them with themselves, you know? I'm going to prove to you what we are doing wrong, that we are raising killers, satisfied killers at that. So I'm going to prove to you that we are raising killers by no fault of our own. And it's because we are not knowing or didn't grasp what the science was telling us years ago, because I heard this story years ago, and this is how it goes. All right. So we are raising young men, and at the age of 1 to 18 is very influential, you know. So let's say if you were teaching your children from the age 4 to 15 about church, you would think that there will be more churchy kind of young men, right? If you was teaching or exposing your young person to a Diddy-like situation, you would think by the age 15 he'll be like a Diddy-like teenager because he's been exposed to it, right? Because the science tells us this, right? If we expose a young person to a lot of porn from the age of 4 to 15, what do you think we will get from that? You will probably get a child that is highly sexual advanced, right? So what do you think happens when we expose our young children to Xbox, Call of Duty, a whole lot of other military style games. What do you think is happening to their mental? And as we watch this horrible play out of 3 homecoming football games being shot up like a military field of young people, and I was thinking to myself, what made them, see, I'm an officer, I'm retired. I was like, you have to have training in your mind to be able to pull this out, to take the stance, to pull the trigger, to duck and cover, to roll with the action. And I was thinking, and it came to me before, that from the age of 4 to 15, these Xbox and PlayStation games we've been giving our young children over the years to play has trained them to be American killers. I'm sorry, you ain't gonna like what I had to say. Just think about it. Every Christmas you give them an Xbox. Oh, and they have to have the newest game. You remember when that was the hottest thing, and it's still hot. And now, the next year, they got to have the new updated version of the Xbox and PlayStation with the newest version of how to kill a motherfucker in it. Okay? In these games, the men, I do believe, play with enough intensity to know the vibration of the weapon that they love to choose. They know the intensity of how fast that weapon shoots, and they come to love it. They come to not fear that weapon when they hear the clicking and the popping. They understand the intensity of shooting somebody and how it looks in fantasy land. They have no fear in the game when they go to play them. Over the years, they start taking over that persona in their mind. I heard a while ago a man explaining to us about how men think. And he says, men think with ego intentions. They replay messages in their mind about how great they are, how fabulous they are, or what if and what could. Men play these ego scenarios in their minds all the time. This one man told us on YouTube. And I never forgot that. I was like, that's game. And just think what happens when you let someone from the age of 4 who's been training in his house on the Xbox or PlayStation or computer up to the age of 15, and some are still playing that game 18 to 25 and above. What do you think that does to their senses when you play for that length of time? You have to go into a zone, even for the game, to play it. That is a killer zone. It's a killer zone that when you see something, you shoot. Okay? Let that absorb. Let that set in for a second. That, unbeknownst to us, we was, as a whole community, training killers. That's the only thing I can actually understand. Why will young men go out armed to the teeth and decide that they want to, that at this point, for whatever reason, it was okay and justified to pull out a weapon and shoot up a bunch of people? It's because nothing would matter to them, because in their mind they played this game before. It's just a game. They're not even thinking at the time. Actually, when they in the game, I do believe they pick their favorite weapons from playing that game. And then they go purchase them and they carry them around. They know how accurate, how it feels, and don't get the remotes that know how to vibrate. That gives them that feeling of wanting to feel how it feels in their hands. Unbeknownst to us, we are raising killers. I'm sorry to say that. All of us who's ever given somebody these horrible games of combat. I have a couple names if y'all don't know what I'm talking about. even as an older adult man, if we say that if you came to Puffy House after 2 o'clock and stayed to 6 o'clock in the morning, you might be suspect because you stayed in the black community. You know how that goes. But if you expose a young man to a killing machine software over and over and over again, over his years of development, you don't say you ain't developed a killer. You know what I mean? We will have our myths and sayings about a lot of things. If you go to a gay club, you're gay. If you go to this thing, you're that. But how about if you give your children a machine that trains their brain to desensitize from humans and enjoy the pleasure of killing, then we have a problem. Okay, serious problem. Let me go to the part where me and ChatGPT had it out when I heard about this, because it really hurt my heart to hear this. What we have for tactical games: Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, Warzone, Battle Series, Apex Legend, Destiny 2, Rainbow Six Siege. All these kids is going to war in their bedrooms, in their mind. They have to actually let that digest so they can play this very intense game. I mean, I can't play it, and I'm a pretty good computer person, but I can't play it because I don't know all the knobs to hit. It's a lot of knobs to hit. There's a strategy on knowing how to kill the other person in the game. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you gave your child games like this to play over the young lives that they've lived, we have been training killers. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know what would make them men, young boys, go out and kill up a homecoming football game. Shoot at anybody. All these games all over the world is because they're living in their Call of Duty game. They don't want to go to war for real. They want to stay inside this Call of Duty game. Okay, I'm going to read some things ChatGPT gave to me so to make you think about it, okay? Let's be real. Our sons are training for war every night, not in the streets, but on their consoles, the battlefields in the bedrooms, the headsets in the new helmet, and we're out here pretending this is all harmless fun. You know what I mean? Just think about it. They're in their room on these battle military games with these weapons that they know all too well, and know how they shoot, how many magazines is in it, reload capability, trigger capability. You're teaching them to love the art of killing. I don't think that these young men that was doing the killings and the shooting, and their peoples are shooting all back, that they peoples are bad. Because I know what y'all thought when all this is happening. Where your mama at? How did she not know she was raising a killer? Really, it's the middle class kids. The kids that can afford to buy an Xbox for their children and a PlayStation every other year for their children. It's the middle class that were raising these killers. Yeah, I can disagree with me if you want. Comment below, please. Tell me I'm wrong. But the middle class is providing coverage with 1 or 2 parent household, providing them with the things they need and the things they want. And one of them, the things are games. And depending on what games, depends on where their mind go. Just like we know about music. If they play that rap music that instigates killing, they go out. And we've been talking lately about it on all the social media platforms that it instigates killing. So what do you think a console game military with rounds, automatic rounds in it is teaching you, your children? And we gave it to them. We just didn't tell them to play with guns, no live guns, but we might as well give them the console and told them to play with fake guns. That's what we did tell them. We've got a generation of young men logging more hours in Call of Duty than they do in class, on the job, or with family. The mindset isn't how do I build something, it's how do I dominate. These games reward aggression, not reflection. Kill streaks, not compassion. It's conditioning, not just entertainment. It's conditioning them to be killers. So the good parents of the world who has a son or daughter who's going out doing these crimes, y'all good folks. Y'all was good folks. We just didn't know that we was providing instruments that was conditioning our young people's minds to go out and be killers. But now you know. You can't say you don't know, because I'm telling you right now, you're doing that. They said that study years ago when they came out, but no one believed it. But 20 years, 30 years down the line, we ain't had nothing but killings. Even ain't all for rap music, all for gang activities, very influential. People could just say anything to you. Just think if you can say anything to somebody, just think if they're in their console, in their computer, in their head, telling them about how to be a good killer, how influential that is to somebody. They think they're the best killer the world has ever seen. They sure do, because they make up scenarios in their mind. The man already told us how men think. They're ego-driven with scenarios of how great they are. And with that, if all you know is about how to be a military killer, you want to be the best military killer you can possibly be. And then military killers come with a whole lot of other dysfunctions. Now, I'm not blaming the games. Let's keep it strategic. These games didn't create violence, they mirrored it. They reflect the world we built. Where power means control and empathy's a weakness. The real problem is when the game becomes the guidance. No father figure, no structure, just virtual validation. Virtual validation. They're not learning how to fight for something, they're just learning how to fight. Not for something, just how to fight. That's game. Think about that. Got some more. Psychologists, I have to read for you. Psychologists will tell you games don't make killers, and they don't. But they numb the mind. When violence becomes a normal, pain becomes invisible, and invisible pain creates a real-world destruction. Our boys aren't desensitized to bullets, they're desensitized to consequences. They ain't worried about bullets because they shoot bullets all the time. And guns and everything don't fear them. Ducking and hearing the sound pop them. They don't even know of the consequences afterwards. They just love playing the game. They ain't think about the consequences afterwards. That's what that's saying. We got to redefine what strength is. Definition of a military style shooter. Me and ChatGPT went over this together. Military style shooter is in any video game is usually first person or third person that simulates combat operation, tactics, or warfare. These games mimic real-war military weapons, uniforms, strategies, and environments, urban battle zones, jungles, and deserts. They designed to immerse players in highly intense squad-based combat where teamwork, reaction teams, and map awareness drive performance. Yeah. This is what we've been teaching our children. We've been giving them this software, and the software has been teaching them how to be great killers. Because while we was watching over the weekend of this mass shootings in 3 different counties in the same state, and I'm here in California, and it broke my heart. It only came to me that they have been trained somehow in their mind that this was okay moving. Okay, so here's some of the reasons why these games are so popular amongst our youth. But we got to change that. They can't be dominating our whole life and teaching our young people to be killers. But here's some of the reasons, and you comment down below if you agree or not. The competitive edge. Games like Call of Duty or war zones are cultural touch points. They're not just games, they're social hubs. Young black men in particular have turned these into community spaces similar to pickup basketball. You show skill, you earn respect. On the game, the more great you are at killing on a game, the more respect you have. They'll probably be quoting off, and if you hear them lying off some shit that they done did, they probably done did it on Xbox or PlayStation, so they quoting on their numbers of the killings they had, because in their mind, they super duper killers. Watch your children. The realism about these games, just how real they get into their mind. Military shooters in the game deliver cinematic realism, explosion tactics, sound design, and motion captures tech, all the mimic real battle experience. It immerses, intense, and gives players that in the field rush from their living rooms. That's pretty much what they say. It's so intense. It makes they feel like they're in the war zone, but they're in their living room. But you play this war zone 10 to 15 times in a day, you a killer. Because you are zoned out majority of the time. You are training your mind over the years that this kind of strategy and this thought pattern is normal for you. You have already chosen your gun. You have already chosen your reasons in a lot of cases. So parents, you're not bad parents. It's the games. We got to do better. Let's keep going. Social media and streamers, crossovers, of course. Popular black streamers like Swag, TP, or Faizo Boya turned these games into full-blown careers. Some of them has been able to do that, but majority of them has just been taking their careers to prison. They go out here without knowing the consequences. They know how to play the game good. They know how to take their target out good, but they didn't know about what happens afterwards. They ain't thought about that process afterwards. The interrogation room, the life sentence. They didn't think about that process, though. Customizing. Players build their own layouts, operators, gear, even skin reflecting their personality of culture. They get to design on how, if they were a killing machine, how they would want it to look. Yeah, all up in their head. And with that, they'll bring that on the outside. That the people they deal with, who they socialize, who they date, they'll want that to look just like they look inside their virtual console. Cultural soundtracks, hip-hop influenced trailers keep this game rolling, and there's no shame to the music, no shame to Xbox. It's the games that are not appropriate for children 1 to 18. But what happened? We got to take responsibility for that. Let me tell you this last quote here. If he's angry, disconnected, and leaderless, he'll start living like he's in it. So some other combinations could make a bad combination of a killer. If he is already very into the game, and then he don't have no leadership, nobody that he can look to talk him off the ledge, his fantasy in the game becomes his reality. He's superhero in the game. He's super killer. He done passed everybody he knows in the game, so you couldn't tell him nothing. He went and purchased the gun that he likes to play in the game, and a couple of extra, because in his mind, he's super killing. But he didn't think about the consequences after he shot. All the cameras watching him. They didn't think about none of that, because in the game, there's none of that. It just points, status, upgrades. So I'm here to tell you, parents, I don't blame you. It was a horrible weekend. And this came to me a second time that I needed to make this video for you, for us. That we need to reevaluate what we are exposing our children to. PlayStation, Xbox, that's the only thing that came to my mind when I heard those bullets over the weekend being played back on social media. I'm like, these fools think they're playing a game. We're going to see just how the game taught them how to stand up against an interrogation, life in prison, court. It didn't teach them none of that. So parents, what do you think about this? Am I onto something here? Am I just passing the buck? Or I missed the mark? Or you just have an opinion about where you think? Come up with a solution, not just a problem. And I don't want to blame the parents. Come up with a solution for this, because this broke my heart so bad that I want a solution to it. I don't want no more problems. I don't want the years of 10 more years from now, we done raise some more killers. Let's do better. Thank you.